All right. Hello, y'all. Welcome to Money Monday. Is the official name I'm going to start calling this. I'm going to drop these videos every Monday for my wealth journey. We're just going to be going over basically kind of like a vlog of my personal journey to wealth. I'm not wealthy yet, so I'm starting early. But how I went through all my processes and what I'm going through currently. So basically, y'all are going to be journeying with me and hopefully also building wealth at the same time, no matter what part of the stages that you're at. So I'm currently through stages, debt free, have investment, have retirement account, and able to vacation freely. Well, 3 times a year freely. So yeah, we're gonna go through what I went through to get to that point. So first thing I covered in my just little informal card video. The first part of my journey was learning to invest. Actually, as a college student, I was fortunate enough that my mom, she didn't really know that much about investing, but she knew enough for her retirement. So she just strongly recommended I invest in the power company utility, which is very safe investment, very safe and very slow growth. So I wouldn't recommend it for younger people now, but for someone that's never invested before, it's totally fine. Like I had no idea what I was doing, so it was a good way for me to just kind of like learn the power or learn how investing works, and just make it more familiar to me so that when I became an adult, it was not a scary thing for me to start investing for myself outside of that investment. So that was step number one. Just start investing real cheap. It was like $40 a stock once a month. That was it. So I want the main takeaway for investing is no matter where you're at, how much money you make, as long as you make some kind of money. I was literally a broke college student. I was eating beans and rice, not even ramen. Beans and rice was actually cheaper than ramen. That's why you can make an entire pot of rice for like $1, and that will last me like all week. With the beans too, that will last me like all week. I just had a school job, a student job on campus, like 3 days a week, and I was serving at a local restaurant on the weekends. And then I also started working on campus in what was going to be my chosen career field in fitness. I started working in the gym. And yeah, so I say if you automate it, if you make any kind of regular income, even if you're like gig income, because what I ended up getting into was personal training and teaching classes, which is not a consistent income. So you don't even have to have like a consistent, like solid income. Basically, you just need to make enough. Like if you pay for any type of subscription, you can afford to invest. That's actually what the cutoff is going to be. If you're not homeless and you can afford some type of a subscription, you are paying your bills within reason, that is like ground zero. Just like if you have a internet right now, I'm assuming you're paying some type of internet bill, so you can afford to invest. So, I mean, you can literally create an auto payment as low as, I think you can do like $10 a month. 20, yeah, you can actually do $10 or $20 a month auto payment. So yeah, there's literally no excuse. I would say if you have Netflix, it's worth it to just cancel your Netflix. It's literally worth it, just cancel your Netflix subscription if you're not sure where you're going to find the money, and just put it into an automatic investing. All right, so that's step number one. Step number two that I did, that I was really fortunate early on, I didn't know really about credit history. It just it happened that my mom told me that she would cover my tuition, but I had to cover everything else. So I got like really basic credit cards so that I could buy my books and like pay for food and things like that, if I didn't have cash. And so yeah, I got my first credit cards to just like buy my books. And just the process of that, because it was relatively cheap things, I wasn't really running up a lot of balance. I mean, I was buying like whatever food we had at the school periodically. So I established a credit history that way, and then that allowed me to get my car, very cheap car. But I had like established some credit history, and I paid off all my books like pretty easily. I would say the biggest thing with debt, I did eventually get into some debt because I bought some things. Funny enough, I bought some online courses, not even really online courses. I bought some, they send you all these ads or show you all these ads on YouTube. They're still here to this day of whoever is like selling you a course to teach you how to do things. Well, of course, some of those courses that they sell, they sound really, really great, but then when you actually get into the process, it's like, this is a lot more complicated than y'all made it sound. So no shade to those courses. Well, unless the ones that are knowingly doing that, all the shade to them. But some of them, it's just like, it's just hard to follow through on that, and it's like basically your fault. So you get into debt. Either way, either you got scammed or you just didn't follow through and you still paid for the course, and it's just like, it's your loss. So I got into several $1,000s. It wasn't all that. Some of it was like my car and other just life expenses. But I got into a few $1,000s of debt in my journey, and I knew that I hated it because I knew I was paying interest, and I knew I was paying the credit card companies more than what I would have paid it if I was just like paying it off. So my big focus became to like get rid of all of that debt that I had. And I was still investing also at the time. It was still doing my 40, because I literally forgot about that investment. That's what I'm telling you. If you automate an investment and it's so small, like $40 or $50 or less, you will completely forget that it exists. Well, at least if you're ADHD like me, you will completely forget that it exists. So, yeah, the other thing I did was automate my credit cards to pay down more than the minimum payment. So I had it, instead of, it was like $35 minimum payment, I had it doing like $100 each month for payment. And I just did that on all my cards. And then when I got lump sums of money, so for example, I joined the military. Do not recommend at all, unless you are really into the military or you really want the benefits. I mean, I will say like they do give good benefits, but if you're only going for that, if you really need it, by all means, like be the judge for yourself. But me personally, it was terrible. But I will say, they gave me lump sums of money, and I used that to pay off the rest of my debt. So that was the useful benefit for me. And I did not join active; I joined reserves. So thankfully, the amount of my life that I sold was comparatively small versus people that go active. So yeah, I would say I probably had like 7 or 8 months active during my training. And all of that paid off my debt pretty much. So that was like the benefit of that for me. I still was on my way to like pay off all the debt anyways, but that definitely made it go a lot faster. So just putting lumps on, if you get extra money, put it towards don't treat yourself until you're out of debt. Like, try your best to prioritize getting out of debt ASAP, because that interest is just like draining you for no reason. Like, you could be making that interest for yourself by having your money in the market, and now you're getting paid the interest on your money instead of paying it out to the credit card company. And the third and last thing that we're going to talk about for today, as far as just how to start your wealth journey, let's see, I did credit card history, pay off debt, first investment. Oh, the third thing is establishing a retirement account if you don't have one through your job. So that was my third biggest thing. I'm less far along on that myself. I started my retirement account only maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And I did not know that you don't just start, because I was watching financial videos and they were like, start a Roth account, you need a Roth, you need a Roth. And so I like had to learn what the freaking Roth was and what does that mean. And so I learned enough about it to know that it was good to get a Roth. So I got one. But nobody said that you need to actually invest the money in the Roth into the market. They just said, oh, you need to start a Roth. And I guess they just take it for granted that people know the second part of that, which no, apparently it's really common for people to just be putting money into a Roth and not know that you have to invest the money as well. So if I can recommend one book, this book is the one that told me, oh, you have to actually invest. It was freaking I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. I actually invested the money after reading that, because he talks about how some guy or some girl had their Roth for like 10 years, and they're like, yeah, it's not growing very much. Because same, I didn't have it for that long, thank God. I only had like 3 or 4, but I was like, this isn't really growing very much. It grew like maybe $100 in like 4 years, which is terrible. But shoot, some people don't even get that depending on what they use for their Roth. But yeah, that was like the saddest thing to me to hear that story. Or people have like been putting into it for like even longer than that, like decades. And they're like, yeah, it's hasn't really grown that much. And I feel like it's a travesty, and it's just unconscionable that nobody tells people, like even the bank, that even like the whatever their custodian of their Roth is not saying like, hey, we noticed that you're not investing your money. Is that on purpose? Like, I felt like if I was in charge of like the Roth account stuff, I would be sending out emails like, hey, we noticed that you're not investing your money. If you want to get like max potential growth out of this, like here's certain things that you can do, blah blah blah, just to make sure they know. Because I feel like most people, like, the only reason I wasn't doing it is because I literally did not know. I heard get a Roth, I got a Roth. That was it. So that is my third biggest advice starting out your wealth journey, and something that I have just done recently. That's where one of the places I'm currently at on my wealth journey is I actually am investing my Roth now so that it can grow and multiply, and I can take advantage of compounding interest tax-free, because it gets taxed before you put it in. So you get no taxes on capital gains, and that is the beauty and the benefit of a Roth. So anyways, that is my top 3 beginner tips for today, for today's Money Monday. Woo! So yeah, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. Like and subscribe. We're going to do this every Monday. I will answer any questions that I start to receive as start to build up more content videos. I will be answering them every Monday. Peace out, y'all. Make that money.